I thought that was downright surreal. Like I said earlier, folks, I couldn't believe the indoctrination. And you saw them chanting trans rights and human rights and trans women are real women and whatnot. I really believe, and by the way, as I mentioned in the video, that this is contrary to the international governing body, World Rugby. Back in 2020, they said you cannot have males play with females for obvious reasons. And here in Canada and Ontario, Rugby Canada, Rugby Ontario, they're violating their own international governing body. I guess my point is, if you think that allowing a man to play in a physical contact sport with women, such as rugby, if you think that is diversity, equity, and inclusion, you're wrong. It is misogyny. It is a hatred of women. So why don't we move now from simply identifying as the other sex to identifying as another age? And once again, my ace cameraman, Efren, came out to Markham, Ontario last month. The Richmond Hill Aquatics Club was hosting its Fall Classic swim meet. And we were tipped off by parents. You know that Sesame Street song, "One of these things is not like the other"? Because we found out that there was an individual there, Nicholas J. Sapita. He is a 50-year-old man. He identifies as a woman currently. His name is now Melody Wiseheart, which kind of sounds like the name a porn starlet would have. Don't ask me how I know this, by the way. Anyway, but speaking of pornography, this fellow not only identifies as a female, but he identifies as a 13-year-old girl. And yeah, I'm not making this up, folks. And so it was, we went out to the Markham Pan Am Centre north of Toronto, and we wanted to find out why he was getting away with this. And also we wanted to find out, was a 50-year-old man getting to shower and change with 13 and 14-year-old girls? I think once upon a time, you'd be arrested for that. These days, for asking that question, you run the risk of being labeled a transphobe. The funny thing is, the first clip I have is they initially, let me just make sure I have this right. Initially they said that this never happened. Luckily, we had the game sheet, but here's one of the organizers. He was wearing a badge that said Swim Ontario, but he said he wasn't with Swim Ontario. I guess he was identifying as another sport or something like that. But he was actually denying that this perversity was occurring.
Okay. I don't know exactly what's the purpose of this. That's why I'm trying.
I'll tell you, sir, we were tipped off by concerned parents of swimmers that a 50-year-old man got to compete against teenage girls at a Friday event. We're just wondering, how does a 50-year-old male get to compete with teenage girls?
Well, it's not actually, I don't think that it happened because I'm actually the competition coordinator for this meet. I do not recall there's a 50-year-old man swimming in here on the Friday, competing with little kids.
Okay, so at first, I'll tell you folks, my heart leapt because I thought, were we the victim of a hoax? But luckily, we had the game sheet, which we showed to the organizers, and then suddenly, well, this story transitioned itself too. Let's check this out.
It's my mistake. We did actually, indeed, there was someone actually swimming on that. Okay, however,
that would be Melody, right?
Well, I don't know exactly because I wasn't present.
So there's no name on that list?
Yes, there's a name in here. That's why I'm saying I'm validating whatever the sheet that you have is correct. Okay. However, the meet was open age sections. Okay. So what happened is that session is actually allow any age swimmer. I don't get into with me on age because it's all based on what Swimming Canada's registration.
But Mr. Chan, what I don't understand is that 9 out of the 10 participants were female and either 13 or 14, and the 10th participant was a male, 50 years of age.
Okay, so as I said, don't talk about gender for me because I do not know, because the registration, whatever they enter, this is a 13 years old girl.
Yes.
So the registration in Swimming Canada, as I say, when the entries comes in, we validating, we only have a girl and male event. So what happened is that whatever registration in Swimming Canada for that swimmer, whatever gender, it goes into whichever event.
Yeah, so there you have it. Suddenly he admits that he wasn't quite telling the truth, and then he doesn't want to talk about gender, but that's the crux of the matter. When it comes to the sporting world, with some exceptions such as equestrian and auto racing, males and females are separated for obvious reasons, for the biological advantage that would be inherent to the male athletes. But again, with the unholy trinity of diversity, equity, and inclusion, common sense goes by the wayside.